What is good, everyone? It is the guy that everyone loves to hate and everyone loves to blame shit on when things don't go right. It's your boy, the Crooked Commish here. So we are back at it again to continue on breaking down each NFL division tonight. For the last few weeks, if you've been hanging with us, we have been going through each NFL division, talking about each four of those teams, taking a look into what's been going on in the offseason with them, what additions have they made, what subtractions have been made with them as well. And of course, with the draft only being 8 days away, everyone's excited to see what new Christmas toys are going to be showing up here. So we'll definitely get into that and talk about the draft a little bit and continue on looking through each NFL division here. So we've already broken down the NFC West. We have broken down the AFC West. And then last week, we broke down the AFC East. So tonight, I feel like it's only right that we go ahead back to the NFC and do the NFC East tonight. So tonight, we are inviting and having on another guest to the program, a new member, a new guy to the Chicago Clubhouse. So please go ahead and give him a round of applause when we do go ahead and bring him on. So we got Mike Tipton from the Tipping Point here, Dallas Cowboys fan. So I know not everyone's thrilled about Dallas fans. So, please be nice to him. Guys, that's what I was trying to avoid. That's not how we welcome new guests to the clubhouse, guys. So let's try and do better next time. Okay, let's be better next time. So anyways, with that all being said and out of the way, we'll go ahead and get the show kicked off and get this thing started. So hit the like button and grab a drink because it's time to talk some fantasy football. What is good, everyone? What is going on? We are back at it again. Thanks for hanging with us here. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Here at the clubhouse during fantasy time, we talk about any and all teams here. So if you have a question or a comment, please go ahead and drop it in there. We are by no means at the Matthew Berry level here. So what we'd like to do here is just talk sports. If you guys have questions, maybe you're on the fence about a player or a situation, it's good to talk about it with somebody, get a different perspective to help you either, confirm what you're thinking or give you something new to think about that you maybe haven't thought about before to help lead you one way or another, on the decision. So, but if you like what we do here, like I said, please hit the like button. Please share with us here. Yes, it is a little dark in here. You're right. And this is a new pad here that we're just getting moved into. So we're still trying to get situated. But yes, the lights are they're on their way. So here we go. And then thank you, Sean, for checking us out. We really do appreciate it. I love the logo. Let's see. Why are you insulting Tipton? He's a Dallas fan. Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, I know. But it's still no excuse. All right. Still no excuse. You need to be better than your parents. All right. That's all I'm just trying to say. So, and then I'm on the fence about the state of sports in general. Well, that's what we're here to talk about. So thank you for joining us here. Before I get further into it, let's go ahead and get these guys in here. First, my co-host, a guy that you guys are all very familiar with, but if you're new and you're not familiar with him, you're about to get acquainted with him. So please welcome my co-host, the Mouth from the Bay.
The Bay, how y'all doing? How's it going? Yeah, like it is a little dark in there, man. I helped you move to that motherfucking house. I know there's a light around there somewhere. What the fuck's going on?
I only paid half of the power bill, so once I get
I
the
mean,
other half,
well, you should be sitting in the house that you paid for. What the fuck's going on?
yeah, hey, some of us are in better spots than others, so we're rolling with the punches here. So, anyways, hope you had a good weekend and stuff. Hope your back's not too sore, since helping me.
No, I mean, it's not. It's like I was busy carrying your ass all fucking weekend, but it's okay.
Yeah, and now you're here on the show to carry me again. So that's
I mean, job's never done. Job's never done. You only got to take care of shit.
And the job is never done. That's for sure. So let's go ahead and get our guest in here. So Mike Tipton from the Tipping Point here. He is like I said, a Dallas Cowboys fan. So let's take it a little easy on him. So
I mean, whatever. I mean, I'll stay quiet. The mouth will stay quiet for about 10 seconds.
Welcome.
Then we'll go, boo! Boo that man! No,
all I can say is all of the hate feeds my soul. Just keep bringing.
I mean, hey, it's like it's a rivalry that like since I've been alive that will burn forever. So.
No, I'm the same way. I tell people all the time, like, I'll be okay if the Giants win. I'll be okay if Washington wins because they're losers the entirety of my life. It's whenever the 49ers have any little bit of success. The way that I was loving the methodical way that Patrick Mahomes was just marching the Chiefs down the field, that death by a million cuts in the Super Bowl, it made me so happy. Just so happy.
I believe it. I mean, I get it.
Person ever.
I mean, I missed knocking you out of the playoffs last year, so I mean, there's that too.
You didn't knock us out of the playoffs. Dak Prescott sliding knocks us out of the playoffs.
I mean, like no, Zach. That last thing I remember is Zeke getting put on his butt. It's like, I mean, it is what it is, brother. And neither one of us won neither of us won a Super Bowl in 30 years, so we can keep going back on glory days. But it's all we have right now.
I was about to say, I have a child that is the same age as me the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. So I'm an old ass man.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I got the gray hairs crept in, and still I've been to Super Bowls, and growing up, I always thought we were supposed to win those motherfuckers, but apparently you can lose them.
I mean, you've been to 3 of them, so at least that. Like my team, we make it to the divisional round, and Green Bay slaps the hell out of us. So that's always fun.
I mean, I don't know how hard it is to get there and get to the within 5 yards a few times or overtime. And, the last couple will actually be winning. Be up double digits and still lose in the fourth quarter. So
maybe you
I don't know
for me, because I tell people this all the time, and they tell me that I'm crazy. I say that I would rather go 0-17, or I'd rather have the number 1 overall pick instead of losing in the damn Super Bowl, because that to me,
I don't know. Well, you could ask Anthony. He was there with me that when they cut that touchdown, and there was about 30 people with us at that Super Bowl watching party, and none of them got around me. the Red Sea fucking parted pretty fucking quick. Like, no one came to talk shit. No one said the damn thing. They're like, we're gonna leave that fucking guy alone for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can look at a guy and just tell, like, okay, he needs a space. He's been through things. He's seen some.
That motherfucker needs a minute. Yeah. Let's just put it this way. My girl went around and said, freaking tell everybody, help me. Don't send me home with that guy. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Well, luckily she did make it. And
I kind of liked her, so she lived.
Yeah. Hey, that's all we can ask for. So. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into it here. Like I said, tonight we are going to talk about the NFC East. And since our guest is a Dallas Cowboys fan and is rocking a Deion Sanders jersey, that's a classic. I like it.
I got the Zeke Elliott jersey today. Whenever you told me that it was going to be a 49ers fan as your co-host, I decided, nope, we're not doing anything Deion. We're not doing anything like that. We're going Zeke Elliott. because why not have the memory of Zeke Elliott just getting blown up as a center in the last play for the Dallas Cowboys?
I still don't know what the fuck that formation was about.
Yeah, no, this is a classic Bloods versus Script here going on. So, it's good to see that we're able to talk things out, without it, resorting to violence. But the podcast
it's that summer of '92. It's that summer of '92.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, thank you everybody in the chat here for tuning in. Like I said, if you're new to the program, please show some love here. Hit the like button. Like I said, Mike Tipton has his own podcast and his own show as well. So go ahead and look for his show and subscribe to him as well. So he usually goes on in the morning. Am I right, Mike? You like to go on in the mornings a lot?
Yeah, so it's every morning, 8 o'clock in the morning here in El Paso. So that's going to be 10 o'clock Eastern time. It's with National Streaming Sports, so it's not just on my social media, but it's also on Roku as well. So you can get me all over the place. I'm always doing a few things here and there with that network and everything else.
For sure, and there's a few guys in the chats that can validate that as well. We got TC that I see in your chat quite a few times as well. So, like I said, I do appreciate him coming over here and checking us out as well. So, but like I said, let's go ahead and get into it. So, the Dallas Cowboys here, their additions that they made this offseason, you guys signed, looks like Javonte Williams from the Denver Broncos. So, looks like he was going to be replacing Rico Dowell. And then looks like you guys signed guard Robert Jones, and then Dante Fowler Jr. as well on the defensive end. So what are your thoughts on what you guys did in the offseason? Are you happy with the moves? Would you have rather kept Rico? Or like I said, you're good with everything?
So I would have rather the Dallas Cowboys have kept Rico Dowdle. Like the entire time, like leading up to free agency, I was like, there's no way the Cowboys are letting him walk away. He's literally the only running back that they have on the team now. They let Zeke go. Deuce Vaughn, he's been hurt the whole time that he's been a Dallas Cowboy. So you kind of needed someone. And Rico Dowdle having a 1,000-yard season, it really made me feel. It really made me feel that they were going to try to find a way to keep him, right? As far as like what they did in free agency, there was nothing sexy there, right? Like the Dallas Cowboys never do anything sexy in free agency, but what they did is they addressed the major issues they had. The offensive line was a turnstile. The defensive line was Swiss cheese. So you go out, you get yourself a bunch of defensive linemen. You go out, you get yourself a couple of offensive linemen. And I feel like that's going to be the trend that they do in the draft as well. So I'm not expecting anything splashy out of the Dallas Cowboys. Like I'm not expecting any trades or anything like that. If anything, I have a fear that they're going to trade out of the first round because of the Dallas Cowboys, and they always hurt me. And that's just what they're going to do. But I like what they've done so far in the offseason. I can't hate it. I don't love it. It's just, it's the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? Like they're right there in the middle of everything. Always just in the middle.
Really, huh? I mean, like Jerry coming out and saying like we're not going to do much in free agency. That's not what we do. Kind of like kills like that whole momentum of like doing anything. But I mean, how do you feel about Michael Parsons still being not signed yet? How do you feel about that?
So I always have like weird little conspiracy things that I think of with the Dallas Cowboys whenever it comes to like contracts like that, right? I feel like what happens is they already know what the contract is going to be. Dallas, Micah, everyone knows what the contract is going to be. They've already agreed to the contract. Jerry Jones just loves the Dallas Cowboys being talked about, right? If that's a contract that's out there, 2 years ago it was CeeDee Lamb's contract. Last year it was Dak Prescott's contract. This year it's going to be Micah Parsons' contract. And what happens is ESPN and all the major outlets eat that stuff up, right? So they're just going to feed on it. Why isn't Dallas signing Micah Parsons?
You don't think that it's cost them some money though? Like, I mean, if they would have got CD and Dak done it like way sooner, Dak probably was around like 51 instead of like 60. And CD's probably not getting as much of it because, I mean, everybody else went first and got big-ass contracts and reset the market. And then these guys obviously wanted to get paid. And now, like, with Garrett Miles and, and Hunter, or not, I'm sorry, the guy from the Raiders, Matt Crosby getting big-ass contracts. I mean, now, obviously, Micah wants to get paid too. So you don't think that cost them, like, millions of extra dollars on the cap and everything else?
No matter when you sign a player, it's always going to be more than what you want it to be, right? but the market is going to reset the next year. Look at like if another big name quarterback comes up on the market this year, they're going to get more than what Dak Prescott got, and they're probably not going to be as good as what Dak Prescott can probably give you, right? The same thing like with CeeDee Lamb's contract. If the Cowboys waited until this year to do it, then we're talking about him at Jamar Chase type numbers because they're very parallel type of receivers, right? So it just like, to me, I get that that's always a talking point. That's always a narrative that's out there when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. They wait too long, and I agree. They kind of do wait too long. But whenever you take the emotions out of it and you look at it from like the actual like standpoint of the deal, like it is what it is. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, everyone says, why sign Dak to that type of contract? Dak had all the power. What quarterback?
I knew he was going to get paid. I just asked if you felt like that he could have got 50 instead of 60 if they would have been more proactive, and how you feel about them not jumping in and actually getting. It kind of seems like Jerry's like an old school type of guy. He wants to talk to the players and make a deal like that way, and then he doesn't realize that now it's about all the agents getting in there and taking over, and like players just step back and then talk to my agent type of deal, So I mean, especially when it comes up to free agency, because they don't have extra room to maneuver when you're paying your obviously they're great players, you're going to pay them, but when you're resetting the market, that extra money is not there to put in other places, like you're saying, which I understand the offensive defensive line is an absolute must.
Yeah, and that's been the issue with the Dallas Cowboys is you got to look at like who they had on the like the contracts that they had that are expiring now, right? You had Tyron Smith last year that you're paying him top value for what his contract is because he was a Hall of Fame caliber left tackle. You had Zach Martin on there. You had Dak Prescott. You had the back end of Zeke Elliott's contract. You had CeeDee Lamb. You had like a ton of players. DeMarcus Lawrence was still there with the Dallas Cowboys. So they were spending money. They were re-signing their guys. Someone told me the other day, like, oh, the Cowboys don't have any homegrown guys. All those names I gave you were homegrown guys. Cowboys, right? They don't do a lot in free agency because they give the money to the players that are already on the team that are being proven commodities for them. It's just, it does get frustrating as a fan because you don't want to hear it anymore. Like as soon as the season's over, I want Micah to be signed, right? Like I don't want to stress about it. I don't want to think about it. Let's get that man signed to a lifetime deal. He can be a Cowboy for the remainder of time, right? But that's not going to be fun. That's not going to get Jerry all the likes and all the comments and all that stuff. It's just keeping the Dallas Cowboys the marketing machine. It's keeping the marketing machine going.
Yeah, he wants to keep them relevant. And the best way to keep them relevant is to keep some sort of drama, I guess, somewhat going on.
Yeah.
And
especially when it's the downtime of
even if it's manufactured.
And like it's always manufactured, right? No matter what the team is, it's always manufactured. No one cares about the Eagles until they win a championship. No one cares about the Chiefs until they win a championship, right?
No one cares about those teams anyway.
I concur.
I like what TC says here. The agents want to play it out as long as they can. It benefits their player. The Cowboys offered those guys contracts early. They weren't accepted.
Yeah, and I understand that. Like, it's not always about the team that they couldn't get it done. Sometimes the players are like, "Fuck that, I'm gonna wait too." So I mean, I 100% understand that. I mean, like they're not dumb. Like they understand business on their side. I mean, even if they didn't have an agent, they knew that there's like a crop of new 3 or 4 wide receivers or outside linebackers or defensive ends, whatever, left tackles. I mean, these are the guys that are going to get paid big money. So I mean, if you could wait, for a few months and see what they hit. I mean, obviously. You want to jump in right at, you don't want to be the first guy. You want to be the second or third guy because you're going to make an extra, 20-30 million on the whole contract, especially if you can get it up front, that guaranteed money.
Well, and it's not even that, right? Like you don't want to be first, second, or third. You want to be the last guy that gets the big contract.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the position you want to be in. And I feel like that's, like you said, players are smart, right? Like I'm going to bet on myself. You have to have a level of confidence to say, you know what, I'm not going to get hurt this year. Look at me. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I'm the best looking dude on this field. You have to have that confidence to bet on yourself. And like, I love seeing that from the players. Like I really do. When you take a bet on yourself and it cashes out, it's one of the best feelings in the world that you can have, right? That's what these players are doing. They're just betting on themselves. They get to the end of that contract and they know, okay, I made it to the end. I don't have to worry about restructuring. I don't have to worry about less money. Now I can get my max value. and it really puts the team in a bad position because the team has to pay it, or else the fans are going to start getting angry, the media, all that stuff, all the noise.
Can't lose too many blue chippers, like you said, that homegrown, especially homegrown blue chippers. You start pissing your fan base off. I mean, that's a no-go. You know what I mean?
And you look at that, like Micah Parsons in this case has all the power because Micah Parsons can say, man, they didn't come up with a deal. I guess I'm going to be gone next year. And then, the second he says that, everyone turns on Jerry Jones. They already don't like Jerry Jones, but everyone turns more on Jerry Jones.
Right. I mean, well, it's kind of part of what they don't like. Almost kind of feels like they're being lied to when Jerry says, hey, we're going all in this year. And then you see the offseason and moves that they did last year.
Nothing significant to help the team out. Right? I mean,
yeah,
how do you feel when the team says like we're right there? Do you feel like you're a Super Bowl contender like right now? Do you feel like you're one of the top like say 8 teams that are like once you get into the tournament, like yeah, we got a fucking legit shot? Because like I mean, it sounds like Micah has said it so many times on his podcast, and Dak was like, I feel like we played the Eagles pretty well, and if we beat them, we could beat anybody type of thing. Like, do you feel you're like in that situation, or do you feel like Washington jumped you, and you obviously got the Eagles in your division, and they didn't take that big of a step back, but they're still going to be pretty damn good. So how do you feel about like your actual Super Bowl like prediction? Like, do you think that if you got there, that notwithstanding weather or injuries or anything like that, that you can just go in there and just like beat a Washington if you're on the road?
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I say this all the time. Like I always feel like I am the most level-headed Dallas Cowboys fan in the world, just because I don't get too high, I don't get too low. When they win, cool.
No, you're not. Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Someone did that to the show.
All right, I had to.
I'll drink to that. I'll give a fuck. That's just funny. I don't care who you are. That's just funny right there.
That was good. Good. But,
you humble, Mike? Come on.
I don't brag about anything. Come on now.
No, I know. Go ahead.
But like what I was saying is like, I don't think they're the best team in the division. I think they're the 3rd best team in the division. Washington has surpassed them. It's going to be Washington and Philadelphia's division this year. Now, on the other side of the coin, you want your team to be like, no, we're confident. We're going to do everything that we can to try to win this game.
Right, yeah.
I think about that all the time whenever they're like, oh, why would that player say, yeah, we're going to win this game? The fuck you want him to say after? You don't want him to say that? You want him to be like, no, we're going to lose.
No, yeah.
I've got no.
I was wondering if you're a little bit, like you said, level-headed. If you're wondering about delusional with that, because I think we're the best team in football right now, and I'm like, bro.
But I would take that over you know what? We got a lot that we need to do to get better, right? Because right then there's that seed of doubt. You don't want that.
Yeah, okay.
You don't want that.
I was just wondering, to
be confident.
I haven't talked to too many level-headed, Cowboy fans. So I mean, I was just wondering how deep down the rabbit hole you were going down with the fan, not just the fan base, but sometimes the players.
Well, I think with me, the way that I look at it is like anything can happen, right? Like nobody this year coming into this year, the way that Philadelphia collapsed, nobody would have said the Eagles were going to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Oh, got it.
So,
but then they went and got Saquon, so that kind of changed a lot of shit. So
yeah, and but there was still that doubt, right? Like even whenever they were like 11-2 in the season, people were like, "Nah, there's going to be something. There's going to be something that's going to make this team."
I was waiting for Saquon to get hurt. That would have been something. Like if he would have went down, I think that would have been the something. But he stayed healthy. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Niners last year. I was waiting for I was waiting for CMC to pull a hamstring or a groin or something fucking stupid. But they rode his healthy self all the way to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we didn't finish the deal. But I mean, that's kind of what I was waiting for when it came with the Eagles. I thought the only way that they're going to stop is if Saquon gets hurt. I thought all they did was take away everything that they wanted to with Jalen Hurts, when having to throw the ball and be more prolific with 300 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns, which I'm sure AJ Brown and Devontae Smith didn't like, but they didn't give a shit when Saquon's breaking off 60-yarders and taking to the house. You know what I mean? So that was one of those things. I thought that was going to be the one that if Saquon got hurt at some time, that's what I was waiting for, because he's been the same thing like a CMC to look great, and then just all of a sudden you hear he's out for 2 to 3 weeks because something's soft tissue bullshit that no one's seen. It's like he just broke a 60-yarder touchdown and now he's out for 3 weeks. What the fuck happened? So that was the shoe I was waiting to drop, but it never did. And Well, good for them that they rode into a fucking championship.
And you see, that's what I was going to say about like the Dallas Cowboys fans, the ones that are out there that are going to be super optimistic about where this team could be. As you look at the amount of injuries they had last year, at no point in time did they have their full defense. At no point in time did they have their full offense. And it just felt like whenever someone would come back, someone else would get hurt. That person comes back, another person gets hurt, right?
Well, I understand that. I definitely understand that. From that.
Like y'all went through the same thing, right? Like it just felt like a revolving door all the time of this guy's hurt, now this guy's hurt. Oh, that guy comes back, but now this guy's hurt. Like it was just that like all last season for the Cowboys. So I can see why some Cowboys fans out there would be super optimistic. Well, if they stay healthy, maybe they can be this.
Yeah.
Injuries happen in football, right? Like you have to always be prepared for injuries in football. Even if the Dallas Cowboys are as healthy as they could possibly be, they're still the third best team in that division.
Yeah. Well,
especially with what Washington did this offseason. Washington spent some money this offseason.
Yeah, they did.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's that rookie fucking contract right now. That rookie contract they did. They went out there and they retooled and they did some things that even I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is going to be a team already to watch out for. But they went and definitely surprised some people. I thought they're going to take a step back because they won a bunch of games in the last second. They won all those, was it like less than 7 points or whatever games? And they won like 6 games, I think, in the last like fucking possession. So obviously some natural regression is going to come back. But when you bring in some studs and different things like that to help supplement what they already had, I think bringing back Wagner and bringing back the tight end was huge just for just leadership. Yeah, Zach Ertz is bringing back that leadership. I think is huge for that team. I think that team is definitely going to be dangerous for the next immediate fucking future, the next 3 or 4 years, 2 to 3 years. They're definitely going to be a fucking problem.
The only thing that I wonder about with Washington is like, how are they going to deal with expectations now, right? Because last year,
they weren't the hunted. Yeah, they weren't the hunted. Now they are.
This year, you make it to the NFC Championship game. It looks like you got a chip on your shoulder. People are saying you don't belong, but you have expectations. There's a group of people that say that this is a team that can win the division. There's a group of people that say they shouldn't win the division. But the fact that Washington is mentioned in winning the division talks about the amount of pressure that they're going to have now and how they live up to it, right? Because now
that sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels, that sophomore slump, you never know.
You got the sophomore slump that you got to worry about. You've got, like you said, you're gonna have those regressions back to the mean because it was the year before last. Minnesota lost like 10 games by 1 possession. This year, what are they? They're a 14-win team, right? Like they're not going to be a 14-win team this upcoming season, more than likely not. But you always regress. You have those ebbs and flows whenever it comes to season by season. Washington,
a different schedule now. That second place schedule is going to be a lot different than the last place schedule. So
and Washington,
that does change.
They're going to take a little step back, I think, but they're still better than Dallas. They're better than New York.
How do you think Deebo Samuels is going to do with Jaden Daniels in Washington there? How much do you think he's going to help their run game? With older Eckler there, and Brian Robinson there as well. But Deebo's definitely a guy that likes to get goal line carries on jet sweeps and whatnot. And then also Jaden Daniels is also not shy to kind of run it in. So how do you think he will play into Washington's offensive plans?
I think if you have a healthy mindset with Deebo Samuel, you'll have yourself a good player that can like be serviceable to you, right? Like he's such a tool whenever he's right. Whenever he's actually there for the team, he's doing all the stuff.
In shape and ready to go. Yeah. You seen that last year. Like he wasn't in shape or ready to go until we got knocked out of the playoffs on like week, I think 14. And then he had a game against like the Rams, I think, when it didn't matter. We were already knocked the fuck out. And then Deebo was Deebo. He was taking those little bubble screens and those little, around the scrimmage stuff. And then he was breaking tackles and looking great again. But man, like if he's definitely fucking that person again, like he was, a few years ago, and he got a contract, that Washington could have something on it. I mean, he sounds like he's motivated, but we'll see how that works out. So if he doesn't come in shape, or he does not get in the ball like he wanted to, he showed last year that he'll make some noise and push his way out.
And with Washington, like they have so many weapons on offense that he's not the number one guy anymore, right? Like he's not.
Terry showed out last year with Jaden Daniels.
Exactly.
That was definitely a freaking connection for fantasy and for their team. Like they look good together, no matter what. And all they had was Scary Terry last year, and he was still getting open and getting the ball, and making big plays. So Debo there is just going to open up a whole nother level for him.
Yep. Let's kind of look towards the draft a little bit here, real quick. With the Giants there, like I said, what they did on the offseason, they mostly kind of everyone's still questioning their quarterback and whatnot, if they're going to take a quarterback there with the third pick. Them signing both Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson kind of perplexed a few people on what's going on there and what the actual plan is there. So with the third pick that the Giants have, where do you see your division opponent there kind of going? Do you see him going quarterback? Do you see him going best player available, or something else that we're not thinking about?
The Giants, to me, this offseason have been like that one friend that gets really drunk and then starts sending like 45 girls a message like, hey, you up? Like, that's what the Giants felt like to me this offseason, right? And you get Jameis, you get Russell Wilson, but does it really mean anything? To me, I don't think you go quarterback. I know everyone's going to say you go quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. You got to go get Shedeur Sanders. I'm not high on Shedeur Sanders. If he came out in this last draft, right, the one that we just had, he'd be like the 5th or 6th quarterback taken off the board. He's only at the status that he's at because this is a weak draft. It's not a great draft. So if I'm the Giants, I'm going like if Abdul Carter's there or Travis Hunter is still there, you got to kind of go with those two guys, right? Like those would be the guys.
Whoever Cleveland doesn't take, I think, at that point.
Yeah. If neither one of those guys are there, then I mean, why not go Will Campbell, like help out the offensive line? Why not go Mason Graham, help out the defensive line, right? Because the way you build your team is on the interior. It's the offensive and defensive linemen.
I think that's been proven already the last few years. Like, you got a great offensive defensive line, like that's where it matters.
And
that shit inside out.
They have so many more problems than just quarterback, right? At least now you have two guys that you can have for a couple of years, maybe even a year, that just get you to be respectable, right? Like you got to know who you are. You got to look in the mirror if you're the New York Giants, and remember, I'm probably not going to win a championship this year. I'm not going to win the division. Let's just get better.
I mean, the Steelers got the blueprint for how you can fuck that up. They literally just had the same exact scenario when they brought Justin Fields in. And they went and got freaking Russell Wilson. They literally, the Giants just went and did the same thing. They went and got, Jameis Winston, and then they went and got, the same, Russ. They brought him in. It's like when you got no quarterback, we got two quarterbacks. What they say, got two quarterbacks that got no quarterbacks. Like these guys are punting almost on the season, which is crazy because they've all have to win. Like they got to win or they're going to be fucking gone. That's crazy what they're doing over there. Like what the whole mind frame was.
Like I said, what they're doing is they're just sending out that text, man. They're drunk. It's late at night. They're just trying to find out who's up. That's what they're doing right now. Hey,
this parking lot pimping right now. This parking lot pimping, trying to find anything.
Maximum amount of numbers. We're playing the numbers game here, fellas.
I got to hit something. Someone's got to pick up. Someone's got to answer.
Just throw that dart. It's just going to hit some bullseye over there. Who gives a fuck?
I guess
you're going down the list. You're like, okay, now I'm in Torta section. Now what are we doing next?
The guys that they signed, though, I mean, at least they can't be any worse than the Tommy DeVitos, the Drew Locks and stuff that they've had recently. So it's like, I mean, they're definitely Band-Aid guys. They're bridge guys. So, I mean, if you're not going to use a first-round pick on them, who knows, maybe a second-round, third-round pick.
Well, the crazy thing from, like, what I've been listening to lately on the actual big talk shows is that they're okay with getting whoever comes, whether it's Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, whoever falls to him. Obviously, whoever the Cleveland Browns decide to take, they're going to get the other one. That's just the way it is. Cowboys going number one. That's already happening. We just don't know the order of 2 and 3 yet. I was like, but I've heard a lot of things about them jumping back into the top of the first round to either get whether it's Tyler Shook or Jalen Miro or Dart if he's still there. If they somehow get past the Saints, because obviously Derek Carr's probably not going to be there for the year. So I mean that at 9 there's a need for a quarterback right now, whether the Saints decide to go and draft whoever. I mean, they got, Moore right there, who's an offensive coordinator, or, offensive minded head coach. has been someone that obviously from Dallas and helping out Dak kind of grow and progress. So I've heard things for the Giants that they might actually try to jump in, but it's interesting because I think the Jets are at 18 and the Pittsburgh Steelers are at 21, so they'd have to jump in pretty high again around like the middle of I would say 15, 16 to kind of get the quarterback that they would want. But I mean, if you can get like a Travis Hunter and or Abdul Carter, and then possibly go get a Shador if he slides, or a Jackson Dart, I think they would be pretty fucking happy with that at that point.
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be the team that trades with the Giants because they're the team that needs a quarterback right now more than anybody else does, right?
Yeah.
Like you have some talent, you have some weapons on this team offensively that you can't waste another season with them. So I could see the Steelers making a push to get that number 3 overall pick. If I'm the Giants, I'm shopping that thing around right now, man, because to me, I don't see a huge difference between Cam Ward and Shador Sanders all the way down to like Quinn Ewers, right? If you can get a quarterback in like the 3rd or the 4th round and your fan base expects that quarterback to just sit back, learn from Russell Wilson, learn from Jameis Winston, just don't go fun CTE. Jameis Winston just, learn like not to throw interceptions the way that he does. If you could put a quarterback there in those mid rounds that's able to do that and you get more draft capital for it, then now you can help out your team because again, they have so much more issues than quarterback. They might be them, the Raiders and the Saints, to me, are the teams that have so much more issues than just quarterback. A quarterback's not going to help those teams at all.
No, yeah.
Gotcha. So your team here, moving on to the Cowboys there, you guys do have the 12th pick in the draft. Is there any players or anything that can do at that 12th pick that would make you have this type of reaction?
Stupid. Use your common sense.
Is there a player that they could go after or get that you would just be like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, why him at that spot or whatever? Or is there someone that you just like them to get or whatever?
I mean, if they went out and tried to get a quarterback, I would be very upset with them because I don't think that that's something that they need right now, right? Okay. I also don't see a quarterback at that point that would be worth drafting. If they drafted a quarterback, again, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, I'm cool, right? Do your thing. Riley Leonard, come be a Dallas Cowboy, sit on the bench for the next couple of years, learn how to be a pro. I would like to see them, if there was a possibility, right? If there's slight glimmer of hope, if Ashton Genty's there, I want to see them get Ashton Genty because they need a running back. If Tet McMillan is there, they need a second wide receiver too, right? Like all you have right now is CeeDee Lamb. You don't have a wide receiver too, so go out, get that wide receiver too. Tet McMillan would be that guy. Go out and get offensive line help. Yeah,
Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren to me would be good, but I'm not sold out on Jake Ferguson yet. I like Jake Ferguson, but Tyler, like if he's there, I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. And then obviously if they go and they get offensive and defensive line help, like I'd be happy. Again, they have a lot of issues, but if they just address what they need, which right now is wide receiver, running back, offensive, defensive line. If they get that, I'm a happy guy.
Okay, cool. Would you also be okay? You're talking about Genty. Would you be okay with settling for Hampton as well if you guys were to maybe take him there at 12 as well?
That's actually who I projected the Dallas Cowboys to take. I want to say it was either yesterday or Monday. Yeah, okay. Today's Wednesday, right? My days of all time is a construct that's made up, right?
It's all blending in.
Yes. So Tommy Canasta would be mad with the tight end at 12. I thought he was wanting the tight end. That's why I was kind of like shocked by what he said, right? I was like, wow, you want a tight end? That's weird.
What's weird though is like the Raiders are talking about getting that Genty at 6. That's a crazy thing. They're talking about they have so much more problems and they're take that shiny toy.
Well, this is what I think could happen, right? I still feel like there's a possibility that Shador Sanders slides. No matter what happens, if someone trades up to 3, maybe the Giants don't take him. I can see a scenario where the Raiders draft Shador Sanders. He goes at 6, and Ashton Genty is there for the Dallas Cowboys at 12. So that would be the only scenario that this can happen.
Hold on, because what happens if Chicago takes him at 9?
They've been having a crush on him. It's been linked that
I've been hearing a lot of like he might not get past Chicago because of that revamped line with The new head coach thinking just like of all the ways he could do what he could do with him. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I think he would feel great to be with the Cowboys. I just don't know if there's so many teams. I don't think he's going to get past it at the top 10.
I think that's a mistake on my behalf. I was like the rest of the world, and I forgot the Chicago Bears existed.
I mean, that's okay.
You know what, man? Come on now. You had to take your shots like that.
You know what? High five on that one, my friend. That's okay.
How are you gonna come at me?
Ding, ding.
My
Cheers to that, my brother.
Salud. My introduction was you booing me. What are you talking about here? I gotta get him in.
Hey, I said it's 1992 over again, brother. We're reuniting right now. I mean, I had a boogie come on the thing. I mean, we got a Cowboy fan. I can't just let that go.
So no, I mean, and with the Bears, like looking at Genty, looking at his measurements, it's very, very similar to what we have in DeAndre Swift. So it's kind of like, are you almost drafting the same type of guy?
I mean, but Genty's kind of that. He might be that next Barkley CMC type of person. With
1 second. So give me 1 second. So you already almost kind of have a similar guy like that. You worry about the level of competition that he's been playing with at Boise State and whatnot. So, and you look at least Hampton has faced somewhat stiffer competition. Plus, the running back class is so deep this year to where you could get, Caleb Johnson in the second or third round. So with that being said, if they were to get Genty, I would almost yes, he's an exciting player, but I would almost feel a little bit like, damn, we could have used it in a better spot. We could have picked a better player.
I don't know. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in the college playoffs, though, and that was against the top notch. Because I understand he's Boise State and they play the Mountain West Conference or whatever it is, but he looked pretty good against the big schools. It didn't look, and they were talking all kinds of shit. They're gonna stop him. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. He still went and did his thing. So I mean, that right there, like as I'm saying, like could he be the next Saquon, the next CMC? That type of transcendent player where. I mean, the Eagles last year didn't have explosive pass plays, that explosive run plays. And this guy's already shown he'll take you 60, 70 yards at any given time. And you can't replace that, especially with that new offensive line in Chicago. If they gel and they do good, he don't need much room. He's a big boy. He's not going down with one tackle. I mean, the safety hits him, he's going to run his ass over and take it to the house.
I think that Ashton Genty gets a bad rap for that game against Penn State, where they're like, oh, like clearly he was outclassed by Penn State. You're talking about a bunch of dudes that are playing in the Big Ten, arguably the best conference in college football. And if you're going to talk about that, you got to look at what Genty's offensive line was at Boise State. It's not the same caliber of talent, right? So you get him an NFL type of offensive line, that dude can find the hole that he needs to find because those are NFL talent offensive linemen, not dudes that are going to be doing your taxes in Boise, Idaho in 2.5 years, right? Like these are NFL caliber guys. So
he was running like that with that type of line. Yeah, that's my point. He's just running like that with that type of line. Obviously, these guys are like 6-something, whatever. Like a regular offensive line in the Big Ten, or whatever, might be all fucking 6'5" and 300 pounds. I mean, these guys were like 280, whatever. They're not big dudes running around. They're all schemes and doing things. And shout out to Boise State for getting as far as they did, for doing what they did with them. Because I mean, it was Genty and whoever else was on that team. So I mean, like I was one of those things where I wonder if he would have been at a bigger school because he didn't go into NIL money. Like he decided to stay there and basically take a pay cut in college to stay at Boise State. So like he might have went for 3,000 yards if he would have been in Alabama or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? If he would have had like a legit line in front of him, who knows what that guy would have ran for.
So the next team coming up, I think Washington has the 29th pick there. Where do you, guesstimate where they may go with that pick, either offense or defense?
I think they have to go defense, right? Like Philadelphia kind of exposed them that they don't have a good defensive line. You have to go on that defensive line, your middle linebackers. I think your secondary is all right, but you have to be able to generate pressure. If Philadelphia is the cream of the crop, you have to be able to find a way to dethrone them. If you don't get defensive line, then maybe you get linebacker, maybe offensive line to help out a little bit more there, but they've done enough in the offseason to kind of help out their offensive line. They've gotten some defensive players as well. It's just, I think what they need now is just focusing on that depth, focusing on being able to get pressure on the quarterback, find a way to neutralize Philadelphia, because if you can split with Philadelphia, then that means the division is up in the air.
Okay. Yep. Fair.
Bobby Wagner did come back, but Bobby Wagner's like in year 16. So I mean, like, they definitely need to worry about that second level. Get some more fresh young legs in there.
I feel like Bobby Wagner is like at the age right now where he can make a tackle and turn into dust at the same time.
Yeah, he is. He's getting up there in age. He's a little long in the tooth. So TC saying, I like Hampton, but not at 12. Maybe trade back into the 20s or late teens, I'm thinking there. And then also TC saying, I would love T-Mac, Genty, Campbell, Banks, Starks, Carter, Graham, Walker at 12. If I take any of those guys, I'd be happy. So he's got a long, list. It's not like a short list there. So,
I don't know if Graham will be there, but Walker might be.
I will say, I don't think there's any way Graham is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the hypothetical if crazy shit happens. Players.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Well, because if he's there at 11, I hope the Niners take fucking Graham. Let's put it that way.
And that would be like my thing too. Like, I wouldn't be mad if I saw the Cowboys draft like Golden, right? Like Matthew Golden out of Texas. I think I'd be all right with that, because again, they need a wide receiver number 2. Like, you have no wide receiver number 2 right now.
So you like Golden better than the Arizona receiver? Was it McMillan?
No, I like Tet. Like, if Tet's there, you got to take Tet. But if Tet's gone and like hypothetically they were to draft Matthew Golden, I'd be happy with it. I don't think a lot of other people would be, but I'd be happy.
I think guy from homeboy from Arizona is going to be gone in the top 5.
Yeah, I think the Jets are going to take Tet.
Yeah.
Either the Jets or the Saints possibly. So, I mean, because Chris Olave still has some of the injury concerns and whatnot.
Concussion, and he's a lot of concussions. That guy loves
concussions. And even behind him, even if he stays healthy, who's behind Chris Olave really that you're really impressed with in the Saints receiving corps? So.
But what's his name? What's his name was pretty good at the beginning of last year.
Like,
what was this? I can't remember the guy's name. Shit. The other guy, he came out firing last year for the second receiver.
I'm trying to. Was it Shamar, like Shabazz, something like that? It's right there on the.
Yeah, I cannot remember off the top of my head what his name.
Rashid Shaheed, right?
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That guy, that fucking guy.
Okay.
I was like, he came out firing last year, but he kind of did disappear. I don't know if that was
he got injured,
or size, or he just kind of wore down on his own, whatever happened. But like, he did have some pretty good fantasy weeks. So I definitely seen that when they came out that first month. They came out firing, and he was definitely a big part of it. But definitely when Olave got hurt, and he was not the same wide receiver.
For sure. So last is the Philadelphia Eagles. So they have the 30. Yeah, we could do that for Mike.
Yeah, fuck those guys too. I don't care.
So,
they man their fan base.
Yeah. Chiefs fans can get that too, and Green Bay fans can definitely get that fucking shit.
I know. I miss knocking them out of the playoffs too.
I know, Mike, we have in your area there, we have our safe spaces and stuff, but to be honest, man, that's like damn near half the teams that are in our safe space right there that they're saying. I was like, man, that was everybody in my division I can't fucking root against or whatnot. I was like, man, this is gonna be a tough little safe space for me here. I may have to
your team is included in the safe space though, so you're good. Yep. You're included.
No, I know they have to deal with the same shit I have to deal with. I'm like, oh, a Bears fan, Jesus, like really, Mike, you could have done better. So, but anyway, and look at TC throwing tomatoes there at the Eagles. I like it.
Anytime I talk about the Eagles,
throw some tomato cans.
Yeah, hey, Lee, thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button if you guys.
What's up, Lee?
So he is our Chargers fan. He's another guy that joined us, a few weeks back when we were talking about the AFC West. We had a Chargers fan and a Denver's fan on at the same time there. So, and they got along better than I thought. So, Lee, that's no problem at all. No problem at all, guys. We'll get you on next time. That's for damn sure. So anyways, we're getting like towards the end of it here. I wanted to ask you guys a little bit of college talk real quick. one of the bigger stories that's going on out there. Wanted to get your opinion and your thoughts on
Nico.
what is your thoughts on what's going on with the Tennessee quarterback and the NIL deal or mess, I should say, about him wanting a bump in his contract, a raise, you could say, in his contract there. And if not, then it looks like he's going to be hitting the transfer portal, So what are your thoughts on that whole situation? Do you like how NIL is being incorporated now in college football? Or do you think it's kind of making it for the worst, I guess?
I think NIL is ruining college football, to be honest with you, because it's all about these deals. Wherever I want to go is where I'm going to go. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Nico's going to be going over to UCLA. I think that's the thing that I read not too long ago, that he's maybe going over to UCLA. But I feel like what this is going to do now is change the landscape of college football. Like, NIL was cool. You get to make money off your name, image, and likeness, whatever. You get paid for playing football now, right? I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a salary cap that teams are going to wind up having, and we're going to see a huge difference between the teams that have money and the teams that don't have money, right? And what that's going to ultimately do is create like a super conference, kind of like what we were talking about a few years ago with soccer, right? Like in the Premier League, they wanted to have a super league. I can see where the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC combine, and they start kicking teams out. They start bringing teams in that just generate revenue, right? And ultimately, I think the days of the college football that we grew up watching, I think that's done. I think it's dead. We're never going to be able to go back to that again. And now we're going to have NIL contracts that are actually signed, where people can't just get up and leave because they want to raise. Oh, I saw Carson Beck to get this much money. How come I'm not getting that much money? Well, you didn't win the SEC. Right? Like that could be just that simple. Well, if you're not going to pay me, now I'm going to throw a temper tantrum and I'm going to leave. We have to stop that, because that's going to ruin college football.
For sure. And that's what I find interesting there, where you said that he went to UCLA, and part of his gripe is like, hey, my contract was like for the regular season, Tennessee made the playoffs. I should therefore get a bump for taking Tennessee to, and it's like you go to UCLA where they have little to no chance of making the playoffs, college football playoffs. So it's like, what are you doing here, guy? Going to, like, if you really want to maximize your profit here, there's a longer picture. There's a bigger picture here, and a longer, the ultimate goal is the NFL. This isn't, you're not supposed to be thinking, hey, I'm capping out here at college football here. So,
well, if anything, what this is showing, like NFL teams that are eventually going to draft him, is this kid's going to have one good year and start bitching and complaining about getting a new contract each time. If you're an NFL GM, is that the type of player you want?
Yeah. I mean, like with all that though, I mean, you got to understand, this is a 19-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's making decisions by himself. And honestly, the fault is not the NIL, it's the NCAA. The NCAA had years to figure this shit out. There is no rules against anything. Like you said, there's no salary cap, there's no anything. It's boosters who throwing money out, who has the most money to do whatever they want. And he did. He's seen some kid come from Tulane and, Carson Beck get $4 million. He's making $2 million. He's seen that kid from Michigan get 4 years and freaking $16 million. 4 years, $4 million a year. He's like, I want a bump. He's like, I like he said, he went to the playoffs, and he did those things. And whether he goes to the NFL and wherever, he's going to get, say 12, 13, 14, $15 million before he even makes his first NFL contract. So he's already going to be set. So this guy is listening to his dad. His dad is the one who made that decision to be like, we're going to push the envelope. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. As a 19-year-old kid, are you going to tell your dad to fuck off? Hey, I got this, dad. No. You're, right. He's listening to his dad. He's listening to his people, so to speak. And his people is his father. So did his dad make a, bad decision, try to overreach and try to like pressure Tennessee into doing, what he wanted to? And Tennessee said, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, Tennessee was pretty close to winning the SEC last year and at the top. And they lost some games at the end of the year last year. So now in November, if they're 6 and, whatever the hell, 4 and 5, because they have no quarterback right now. You know what I mean? Josh Heupel bought himself some time, but he only has about 2 years to figure that out himself because the SEC is freaking stacked. So I mean, if you could sit there and act like you're going to win or be relevant without a quarterback, then he's not going to have a job in a few years. It's not going to matter. And Nico maybe goes to the NFL, and because I heard about he might want to sit if he doesn't get what he wants, which is going to even kill him even more because that's development for a whole year that he's not even going to get. So I mean, he might go from a first, second, third round to a damn free agent, seventh round at that point, which means he's going to lose all kinds more money on that first contract to begin with. So he's trying to bet right now to get as much money as he can right now in case it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Because you're not all guaranteed to be a Brock Purdy to be Mr. Irrelevant and even get a chance to get a second contract, much less be in the league in 3 or 4 years. I mean, these guys get bounced. So the fact that he's trying to get his money now, it was basically, I think, his dad making that decision. I don't think it had to do with him. I think he was like, yeah, it's a good idea. Obviously, this guy's going to want me. Like, it's like, look what we did last year. We went to the playoffs. It's like, I got one more year. I'm going to be even better next year because the offense wasn't even it wasn't designed even for him. It was still like a Hendon Hooker offense where it was mostly defense and just don't fuck up and throw an interception or do anything bad on offense so we can still win the game.
Lose us the game.
He wanted it to be opened up and do different things. So I think a lot of it was more philosophy. Like he was already fighting with the coach, and then he was like, "Fuck it, let me try and get my money." And obviously, it didn't work out for him. Whether he goes somewhere else or not, because I've heard the same thing that a bunch of programs like Miami are like, "We're not going to deal with that. We're not going to sit there and play and do whatever we got to do to cater to these kids and do whatever." But we've already seen that kind of happen in basketball. Like all the mid-majors and everybody who can't afford to pay the NIL money, they're all going to, all the blue bloods. They're going to all go to the big conferences and get paid. So that's a interesting thing of like how the Boise States and the other small colleges, BYU's and all the ones that were there at the, the college, playoffs last year, how they get affected by, like you're saying, like, some big name offensive, stud offensive, left tackle is like, yeah, I want to get paid $4 million. He's like, well, you're not going to pay me at BYU? Well, freaking Florida State will. So, I mean, that's something I 100% agree with you that could be a thing where they're going to got to start having some kind of contracts, some kind of bonding contracts, some kind of salary cap, you know what I mean? Because anybody who with the biggest pockets is going to win.
Right. Well, we have a question here coming in from Chiefs Kingdom News. Thanks for checking us out. First time seeing you here. Please hit the like button if you guys haven't already. We are kind of coming towards the end of the show, but the question coming in, the 49ers need to get Jalen Ramsey. And he's saying, I mean, you guys lost a ton of players. So what are your thoughts on that Jalen is now in the trading
I actually
block?
heard that today. I seen something about that today that the Niners were interested in it. You'd be interested to see if McDaniels would be willing to deal with the Niners and trade off something like that. I mean,
what kind of draft capital do you think that would take?
I mean, the Dolphins' defense isn't really deep. You know what I mean? They don't really have a whole lot on that side. So to kind of give up he's more of a big name than,
big production
shut that corner like it used to be. You know what I mean? So honestly, like for me, it wouldn't be a bad deal to give him like a 5th round pick and get Jalen Ramsey. But we're not giving up nothing, interesting. You know what I mean? We got 12 draft picks. So on draft day, so we don't lose no compensatory picks. If we gave up like a fourth conditional, a 5th conditional 4th for Jalen Ramsey, I wouldn't be sad because I would actually like to see Will Johnson, in the 40s with that 2nd round pick for the Niners, and have Domador Lenore with 0 last year and Will Johnson. I think that would be a young, nice core to go out there with Mustafa and everybody else that they have on that back end. So, I mean, losing, who we lost there, Hufunga and everything else in that background. I mean, that kind of hurts because he was a playmaker. He was like a little mini Palomalu for a few years that he was healthy, but the last few years, unfortunately, he wasn't healthy, and the Niners didn't want to pay him. But to get like a young, defense, especially in that back end, I think that's huge to kind of keep like that secondary cheap for the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, the Dominant already got his money, so I mean, we let him be the leader, be the alpha, and do something like that. But I definitely wouldn't be upset to see Jalen Ramsey out there, like, doing whatever and still draft another cornerback. Because, I mean, it's war of attrition, and cornerbacks go down really quick, especially for us.
Yeah, as long as, like you said, you're not paying too much. Like said, if you're happy with the 4th round, you can live with that. But anything, if a 3rd, 2nd round pick, I think.
Yeah,
I don't like that shit.
Like,
for sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
No. Like I said, a 5th conditional 4th for like the games that he plays. Like if he plays like 14 games out of the 17 games, whatever, they're out there, and he has like some kind of stipulation where, he has X amount of tackles or snaps played, whatever it is, then I would definitely give up a 4th rounder for Jalen Ramsey.
All right. Good shit. Well, guys, we're up to an hour into the show. This is usually when we start to cut it off. So we really do appreciate everyone in the chat that joined us, all the newcomers that came in and checked us out. We really do appreciate it. The more people and members in the clubhouse here, the better and the funner that it is. So please help us get to our goal. Right now, our goal at the end of the year is to get to 1,300 subscribers. Right now, when I last checked, we were at 1,260. So, we're not too far away, and that's very obtainable there. So, like I said, if you haven't subscribed or liked already, please go ahead and do so. Money Mike Tipton, we really do appreciate you coming on.
Yes,
it
sir.
was a
Thank you.
pleasure to have you on our show.
Even if you're a Cowboys fan, you're welcome anytime.
On your show as well.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to start extending the invite every Friday. We got the TIP VIP Friday, so everyone can come on and be a part of the show.
Absolutely. Mike, please let the good people in the clubhouse shout them out. Let them know where can they find you, where can they get all of your content, what platforms are you on. So please go ahead and plug where we can find you.
Yeah, so the main show is called The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. That airs every Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock at Alaska, Hawaii time. So any of those times, if you want to get a part of it, you can go ahead and do that. All my social media is at Mr. Tipton 33. You
people in Alaska.
You can even find me on YouTube there as well at Mr. Tipton 33. And this is the exact same energy that I have somehow, some way at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's inappropriate. Sometimes it's not inappropriate. It just happens. However the show goes is how the show goes, guys. I'm not in control of it, even though I am in control of it. I just don't know how to have a filter.
There you go.
That's fair. And TC, I'm not sure. I'm sure he knows your page already, but this is the page here, Chicago Clubhouse Network. Our podcast is our name here on YouTube, which you already know, but we're also on Facebook. I, on TikTok, have my own Cricket Commish channel there, so you can find us, the Chicago Clubhouse Network, on TikTok, and myself on TikTok as well. Also on Instagram, but don't have, just getting started with that. Don't have too much going on Instagram too much as well. So, but the Mouth from the Bay, my co-host, do you have any final thoughts? Anything maybe we didn't get into that you wanted to get into? And if not, any last words that you have?
No, just like always, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate every week we got a new guest. We're making new friends. You know what I mean? We're spreading the love. Out there just having fun, doing what we do. That we'll talk about this shit on our couches all day long, and on a Friday night. So it's fun to meet new people and do that online, and everybody else tune in and see what we're talking about, because sometimes we're talking about bullshit, but sometimes we talk about some stuff that actually might help. So just do what we do. We're all doing it in different places, so it's cool to bring it together.
Absolutely, very well said, Mouth. So really do appreciate it. Again, Mike, I'll see you in the morning, because like I said, I like to tune into your show, so you'll see me in the comments there, dropping my thoughts and whatnot. So like I said, also this is also for you, Mike, and we mean this here. This Mouth and I definitely mean this here. All right.
Hey, come back.
Come back. All right. Come back and do this again after the draft. I want to talk about what you guys did, get your thoughts on whether you're happy that the direction they went in, or do you think God damn it, Jerry, you just need to sell the damn team already. So
be pissed off that you got that punter.
Best punter in the draft.
We're going to draft 10 punters. I already feel it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to need a kicker. You're going to need a kicker in the third round like we did, who can't kick a field goal for shit. So.
Mike, it looks like you picked a bad week to quit drinking. So
No, I never stopped.
I like it. Hey, cheers to that, guys. All right, well, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Everyone in the clubhouse, like I said, thank you for liking us, subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, guys, be safe out there, be good out there. But if you can't be good, well, damn it, at least be good at it.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
No sheeps here, all wolves.
No, that's right.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.